What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. I got to do a follow-up video here to a video we did just yesterday on the Springfield XDM Elite 10mm in 3.8 inch. So those of you that saw that video or know the channel know that this incomplete firearm right now is supposed to be a 3.8 inch XDM Elite. It's one of our favorite guns on the channel. It's the workhorse of our 10mm testing. It's a great gun overall. It has had a trigger problem, but that's not what we're here for today. The newest problem that we encountered with it was with the magazine release. It has an ambi magazine release on the gun, and I don't ever use this side. I always use the thumb side. I'm right-handed and I'm just practiced with that way my whole life. I kind of forgot it even had a magazine release on this side until it really malfunctioned just yesterday. Now, what we were doing was just basic testing of the 10mm ammo test series we were doing, and we were putting some ammo through gel. What happened is, upon using the firearm, the magazine, when I went to seat it, did not lock in. This magazine release was stuck on the in position, very stuck. It was like gunky stuck. It's come back now because we've cleaned it, but when I tried to insert the magazine, it definitely didn't lock. It seated that time, but as I pushed the magazine release and I released, notice it's sticking right out the other side. And upon reinserting the magazine, it's not catching. Now it locks in there, and I'll explain to you why it now locks in there, in my opinion, the turkey's opinion. So I'm gonna have to show you some of the internals of this gun. We're gonna have to zone in, and I'm gonna show you what we're talking about here. When you press this magazine release, either from left to right or right to left, you're going to notice this piece of hardware in here. There's a metal plate, a stainless steel plate that rocks back and forth. And on each side, there's a ramped part of a bar that pushes it out of the way. That's what drops and locks the magazine. Now, right now, it's been cleaned out. It's been degreased with electronic cleaner, the quick dry red can stuff, and there's nothing in there, no oil. It should be pretty clean. I did run a bunch of hops through there. I gave it a full cleaning, brush out, blowout, oiled it, degreased it. Now here we are. It's still very stiff. Now I keep pushing it back and forth just to see if it will hang up, and so far it's not. Now I also don't remember exactly what it's supposed to feel like right out of the box. I'm just kind of used to using this gun, and I use a lot of different guns, so I don't use this every day religiously, and I don't remember the exact tension. But right now, to me, it feels a little bit grindy. I'd like to know in the comment section, if you have this particular firearm, how much does it take to actually push that magazine release? Because we don't want to have to push it very hard, but we also don't want to just flick it and have the magazine fall out. There has to be a happy balance in between. Right now it seems a little bit stiff. It feels like it could lock up. So like I said, I cleaned this. I really cleaned this out with hops big time, but here's the thing. It wasn't dirty upon the initial takedown, breakdown, and inspecting of this firearm. I don't have it on video. Camera guy wasn't with me today when I had to get this done, but I'm telling you, I promise you, it wasn't that dirty. I did that video where we cleaned it and I gave it the quick and dirty clean, and I showed you guys how to basically clean these things out. Since then, there have not been a lot of rounds through the gun. The gun has been carried, but it hasn't been manipulated a lot. And down in that particular section, there was almost no gunk to be seen. If there was something in there holding it up, I don't know what it was, but we cleaned it out anyway, and it did free it up. So something was in there. Now, why is this a big issue for me? These guns are supposed to be reliable. These polymer wonders that we have, they're supposed to just function. It doesn't appear that the spring is broken in here, but of course, I don't have it all the way taken apart. I'm gonna try to run it, and I'm gonna see if the same thing happens again. But the bottom line is this should not easily happen. There's going to be people in the comments, and there have already been people in the comments of the last video that have mentioned how poorly I maintain my firearms. And yes, I'll admit that I do let my firearms get extremely dirty. I wouldn't say I poorly maintain them though. When they get dirty enough, I set them away because they're not trustable, they're dirty. I grab another one. I have a pretty heavy EDC rotation, and it's because of my work environment and things like that. I can't stop and clean my gun in the middle of the day or at the end of every day, so I have a pretty heavy rotation. This gun hasn't been dirtied up to the point of abuse and then run with all kinds of grit and stuff in it. I usually don't let it get terrible, despite how dirty it can get sometimes. So abused, it's borderline. We've tested the crap out of it, but as far as maintaining my guns, I do try to maintain them, and I don't think that this is a part of a gun that should need high maintenance. It doesn't get a lot of carbon. It actually doesn't collect a lot of dirt, no matter how much dirt the whole gun collects, and that right there to be as stiff as it is, even right now, I think there might be something more to it. But I just don't see this being a high maintenance part on a firearm. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong. So let me put this thing back together and let's run it just a little bit and see what we get out of it. All right, she's completely put back together. I lubricated her like normal. She's been cleaned 100%, degreased, re-oiled. I have not put any lubrication on this magazine release. That's not a lubrication point that I know of for firearms typically. You might want to put a tiny little bit of maybe on the spring to preserve it in certain type of guns. This one, I don't think that that's a mandatory oil point. It could be though. I think that that's an attractant point. If we're talking about this thing getting gunked up and gummed up, I think that putting any kind of oil in there might actually attract more dirt than do good. So more harm than good. I could be wrong. Again, that's what the comment section's for. If anything, I think I might try to put a little bit of dry lube in there. That way it doesn't attract any kind of particles or anything, but it's still going to be lubricated with some graphite. So dry lube might be the answer. We'll try that probably here at the end of this video. Let's just put 11 rounds of basic range ammo. This stuff is probably a few different velocities. These are my cast-offs that my practice bullets. I was making bullets today, or all week actually, and these are just random ones with different powder velocities in them. So they might have different flashes. It's getting low light out. We might have fun. I'm going to shoot at the far distance target. So 11 rounds. Let's see what happens. And then let's play with the magazine release afterwards. I wanted to shoot the far target, but I can't see it in the woods. So we'll just shoot some steel up close for now. I should be hitting that target. And I don't know why I'm not. Because I wasn't looking at the top of my sight. It's that dark out. You can't see that on camera, but it's pretty dark out here actually. So it locked back. Now let's see what happens when I release the magazine. We appear good to go. Just a few more random ones for fun. And my shooting sucks today. Gonna release the magazine. Like I said, it feels stiff, but that could be just how it always is. Seems to lock it just fine. I don't see any sticking either way. So I think we fixed the problem. The question is, why did we have that problem? Again, I really don't think that this gun was dirty enough to cause that type of a malfunction, but we will monitor it. We will keep our eyes on it. I'm not going to blame the gun. Put me on record right now. I'm not going to blame the gun. I'm still blaming myself for the most part for now, because I've put this thing through a lot. There could have been some limestone dust in there. I don't know. I'm going to put dry lube in there just to see if that helps the overall lubricity of this. As I drop the magazine in the mud, we have 2 bloopers basically in 2 days, but... Now I put just a little bit of dry lube on there, and I can honestly say it does feel better. Let me see if I can get an angle where you can see. But it does feel better. How long that'll last, I don't know, but if you're experiencing this problem, just put a little bit of, I used actually the Birchwood Casey stuff, but you can use WD-40 dry lube or any graphite dry lube should work. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Anybody that owns this firearm, I hope I gave you a little bit of information in these last 2 videos, and I hope I put your mind at ease a little bit on this video. Like I said, we'll see how it happens. But until we see you next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.